Mental Effects of the Magnetic Shift, Chan Thomas, The Adam and Eve Story, Chapter 7, The Precursor. During 1967-1968, I was on special assignment with a large aerospace firm on an advanced research project high in security. While on that project, I found myself conjuring up some questions as to the effect on human psychology when a human is placed in the extreme low-density magnetic fields of outer space, outer meaning beyond the radiation belts, such as astronauts encounter halfway between the Earth and our Moon. On my own time, I worked with molecular structure of proteins in the human body, and on the possibility of the low-density magnetic field environment having a carcinogenic cancer-generating effect. It only took me a few weeks, and I arrived at two conclusions. First, the protein structure, such as in the muscles and connective tissues, would literally come apart after about 3 months in the environment, and second, in the same duration of time, any person in that environment would be subjected to a general malignancy, cancer, from head to toes. I wrote a brief paper on the results of my study and submitted it to my supervisor. It was filed away and ultimately forgotten, and I was informed that it was not within the responsibilities of my task with the company. In 1968, there was an article on the front page of the Los Angeles Times about two scientists at Hahnemann Medical College who had wondered about the same thing as I, only they decided to find the answer through experimentation with mice. They put a batch full of mice, all genetically of the same strain, in aluminum cylinders about 6 inches or so in diameter, half in a magnetic field environment the same as we live in, and the other half in a magnetic field environment equivalent to being halfway between the Earth and our Moon. Both sets of cylinders had the same physical environment, the same number of male and female mice, the same food, the same lighting, the same play environment, and the same water supply. After 3 months, the mice in the low-density cylinders all suffered the same effects. First, they all simply came apart, all in their protein structure, and second, over 35% suffered visible cancers, which could be considered head to toes. No analysis was made of internal cancers. I was so shocked to learn that my conceptual work had been verified by experimental work that I immediately made a telephone call to the two scientists. They were equally shocked to learn of my work and surprised that I knew why their results had occurred. My supervisor was also shocked at the accuracy of my predictions. The scientists invited me to Hahnemann Medical College to spend a week with them. My company cheerfully paid my traveling expenses. During my conferences with them in Philadelphia, they told me that there was something which was not released to the press and was not generally known. They hoped I could help them with the reasons for these results, which disturbed them. The first thing they told me was that mice turned criminal in their low-density magnetic field environment. Criminal? I exclaimed. How in the dickness do you tell me a mouse turns criminal? I asked. Very simple, was the answer. There are basic and cruelties for almost all mammals. Mice and humans are no exception. cannibalism is the ultimate cruelty, and they turned cannibalistic, even though they had plenty of the same food as the mice in the normal magnetic field strength cylinders. They indulged in cannibalism as a preference. The mice in the normal cylinders treated each other normally and ate only their normal food. He paused a moment. There's another thing which really confounds us, he continued. These same mice who turned cannibalistic indulged in forcible rape literally around the clock. Death and murder are the other end cruelties. Is it possible that you can tell the difference between rape and forcible rape in mice? I asked. It seems impossible to differentiate in mice. Oh yes, he said. It happens all the time in the animal world. For instance, sea lions and sea elephants. They use forcible rape commonly. In these mice, almost every act of sexual intercourse in the low-density cylinders was forcible rape, whereas in the normal cylinders we never saw it. Of course, we must assume it may have happened when we weren't looking. Of course, in humans it's easy to differentiate between forcible rape and rape, I offered. Legally, it may not be so easy to differentiate, he replied, but morally, I guess it's easy. But what we are interested in here is why they resorted to forcible rape just because of the environment of a low-density magnetic field. We were hoping you could give us at least a concept to go on. I told him that my work did involve the study of legends concerning civilizations in the years leading to cataclysms when the Earth's magnetic field was decreasing at an increasing rate as they approached the null zone. And in every instance it appeared that criminality, essentially man's inhumanity to man, appeared to become overwhelming. Even the Navajo Indians spoke of it in their legend of their approach to a cataclysm, but they called it adultery. It's quite possible that their definition of rape in any form, be it forcible or not, was included in the term adultery. After all of my study, it seemed strange that it had not entered my mind that rape and forcible rape are part of the overwhelming criminality in the precursor period preceding a cataclysm. Later, I concluded that it was because I was searching for facts and it never appeared before me in print. To assume it to be a natural part of the overwhelming criminality, however, seemed to be a proper assumption. After some consideration, I gave them my conclusion. I would commit that a lowering or lowered magnetic field environment could give its occupants a sense of impending doom. Certainly there would be a feeling that something out of control was destroying them, so why not get what they want irrespective of consequences? In the case of humans, these without empathy, those without empathy turn criminal first. In the case of animals, it is probably proper to assume that there is little or no empathy there to start with. After my trip home from Philadelphia, I examined statistics from around the world. The United The United Nations was reporting huge increases of rape in every nation, regardless of economic status, intellectual level, social mores, governmental status, family structure, plus whether a nation were in either temperature zone or in the torrid zone, and regardless of ethnicity or religion, or whether a nation had an official state religion. The staggering rise in rape worldwide was a leading factor in the rise of the general crime rate around the world. I just have to excuse myself because these letters are a bit foggy, so excuse my English language. It comes to greed effect, global crime. Increase in crime 2022. The number of major crimes reported in February 2022, 9,138, represents a 19.7% from 2020 and nearly 47% increase from 2019. City data shows. Since the beginning of 2022, there have been 375 transit crimes, a jump of nearly 73% compared to the same period in 2021 that recorded 217 transit crimes according to city data. There is an article which you can read. It dates from 24th May 2022. Police forces prepare for civil unrest this summer over cost of living crisis. This is not a cost of living crisis, it's greed, people. We all know it's greed. So is it fact or fiction? Do you think this is fact or fiction? Because I think it's a fact. Another article from 21st June 2022. Summer of discontent, how the cost of living crisis could fuel further civil and industrial arrest. This is in order to engineer an accelerated reaction to what's unfolding. They add more pressure, jack up cost of living. It doesn't make sense, yeah? Well, it makes sense. The magnetic fields are altering due to planetary cycles, changes. Rather than develop structure and artificial environments to assist humanity through changes of slow it down. The powers that be accelerated stressors such as cost of living, social credit score systems, and affordable housing crisis to add pressure to the environment, and some of the humans react accordingly. So our controllers must manufacture a reason to blame. This time it's Ukraine and the cost of living. This time it's Putin and Russia and the cost of living. Engineer it, market it, promote it, and drive the sinister low vibration so it becomes collective manifestations. quantum reality combined with planetary environmental effects, catastrophe. Perma-rescue. Yes, our controllers are gonna rescue us at the end. Of course, it's interesting component to consider. It can lead to potential snap lockdown. And at the end, of course, you should read the Chan Thomas escape plan. I will put it this way. Our governments are greedy bastards. They are psychopaths and they are sociopaths. And this is greedy effect. They are gaslighting us. And they are doing this for the purpose of fraud, to take our human rights, our freedom, to do fraud as it's for centuries. We are just part of human farming. You already know they don't care for us. So it is time for us people to stand up.